Court, the movie podcast where Sean,
Josh.
watch shit, talk shit, and was that Russian?
I think so.
Watch shit, talk shit, and most importantly, eat shit. We are the law.
I think I just hate my name,
So I
just say it differently.
I am George.
I am George.
I come from India.
Yes. With a Russian accent.
That's how. Hey, it's all in Asia, man.
It is all in Asia.
How about that? Take that, the internet.
Hashtag, it's all in Asia. That's a good, like, if you really wanted to get tourists to go to every part of Asia. Russia, they're in war.
Send them to Ukraine.
Wow, what a holiday.
Free trip to Asia.
Do you have a lot of British listeners?
Tweet at us if you are a British listener. Thank you. And if you aren't, also tweet at us at Food Court Cast. Either way, we watched, before we get too deep,
I didn't want to go.
Lives Inside.
Mm-hmm. It's, I'll just be honest. Blumhouse, I used to love.
This was not a Blumhouse.
Oh, it's not a Blumhouse?
No.
I thought it was Blumhouse.
This was a Neon.
Oh, well, I'll
but
just
it
say
was very Blumhousey.
It was pure Blumhouse to me.
Yeah.
And I think they've kind of ruined modern horror.
Maybe.
They've made everything kind of squeaky clean, no death count.
Yeah.
And it's always predictable.
Yeah.
It's always some sort of demon monster.
Yeah.
And you got to put it in a vessel.
Yeah.
The end.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert, you got to put it in a vessel.
You got to put it in a vessel every time.
This is what happens. This is the plot of It Lives Inside. There's a nice young Indian American girl.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember her name.
Sam,
yes.
I remember both their names.
Wait, what was the other girl's name?
Tamira.
Tamira? Yeah, okay.
Tamara.
Tamira, tomorrow.
I'll see you, Tamira, tomorrow.
Let's call okay, so she's just young and beautiful.
Yes.
I checked. She's 24, so I can say that all
okay.
I want.
I wasn't going to say anything about her looks.
She's merely playing a person in high school, but she's actually 24, so you can say she's just so fucking hot.
They also don't say how old she is in the movie.
Oh, yeah, maybe she's just an idiot who's in high school.
She's a 24-year-old high school freshman. It's just strangers with candy.
Yeah. They're like, all right, Sam, what is 2 plus 2? She's like,
She puts on lipstick and everybody goes, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Her lips, now this isn't important to the plot necessarily, but it is one of the few pleasures of the movie that she's just so beautiful. Mm-hmm. But her lips are, like, you know how all white women now have, like, the oversized, super fluffed lips?
The Kardashian lip
Yeah,
effect.
so they look, like, terrifying. She has that, but it, like, looks, but it's real and looks good.
Yes.
Because it's not like the fake lips go outwards from the face somehow. Like, if you turn her sideways, it looks like she's sort of like a duck. Like the fake lips, but her lips just look like a regular person's lips, but they're way oversized and beautiful. But that's not important.
If we're going to objectify women, can I say the mom was also
is so hot.
Was the hottest one in the whole picture
really?
To me.
You think she's hotter than the daughter?
Because I think she always had makeup on, and at least they tried to make the daughter look, regular at points.
Sort of like
but the mom was just like, it's 2:30 in the morning. You just woke me up. Makeup. Just lipstick.
I'm as hot as possible.
Constantly.
Okay, this is what happens.
Yes.
Well, okay, but first, the dad is not that attractive. No. So it's impossible that dad, I mean, maybe he's got a great personality and he married that woman, but there's no way that their daughter could be like 10 times hotter than their dad, right? Can that happen?
Isn't there like some sort of saying like ugly people make pretty babies? Maybe half. Ugly people make a really pretty
beautiful
baby.
So this is what happens.
She gets it from my mama.
She does get it from her mama, not from her dad, who works overnight for some reason.
Has kind of a neck beard.
It's not really important for the plot, but it sort of is.
He dresses like a postman, but doesn't mention any postman duties.
Yeah. It's weird.
If your dad worked for the post office, whenever he came home after an overnight shift, he wouldn't be like, hey, my ladies are here. He would just come home and be like, God damn it.
I'm so tired.
Where's another beard? He just gets hammered. Just starts smacking. That's how your lips are going to get big now. I'm going to punch it.
So this is what happens, and It Lives Inside. There's a beautiful young Indian American girl.
Sam.
And she is named Sam. And she's got a friend who's completely fucked up named Tamira, who at first you're like, is she just some goth chick?
She's Ali Sheedy from The Breakfast Club.
Yes, in many ways.
She was, yeah.
And you're like, ding, 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 ding. But she's not like that, actually. She's got a jar, and you know what's in there? A demon of some kind. Right?
In a glass jar.
She's got a demon
What
in a
could
glass
go
jar.
wrong?
And they used to be good friends, Sam, and oh man, there's two ladies
Slowly approaching us.
We record in the real world. If you're not watching the video, you don't know this, but we record in the real world, and there's just women sort of walking in the street.
Here's what we do if they fuck with us.
Yeah.
We say this is a right-wing QAnon podcast, and I follow enough of that.
Oh, okay.
To where I can say some stuff.
Okay. Or we can just say we're like a regular left-wing podcast that talks about beautiful
I
Indian
just want
women.
to get them to say terrible things.
Oh,
And
you
we
want
have it
them?
on-
Got it. Oh.
I want to bait them.
We can
into
record
saying
them.
some terrible
That's smart.
stuff.
That's really smart.
If they'll just...
Come on,
Boy, they're
ladies.
just ignoring us.
Wow. They don't even love
Oh,
us.
wait, that one didn't. That one turned around. She looks like, were the killer clouds of outer space? Oh, my God. Just Google that.
Hey, just kids, this is what happens in It Lives Inside. There's an Indian American girl,
Sam,
and she's got a friend named Tamira, and her friend is goth, and she's got a
friend is
demon.
Ali Sheedy.
Yes, she's got a demon in a jar, and they used to be friends, but they aren't anymore.
No.
Because
Sam wanted American friends.
Yeah, honestly,
She was sick of her fucking bullshit.
yeah, that she kind of, sort of. I mean, it's a movie that is mostly a metaphor. The metaphor is like, don't turn your back on your family and your traditions, which is, I mean, probably a good way to live. Oh no, don't answer. He got a phone call. I won't tell you who it is. So Sam's like, fuck your jar, essentially. And she slaps it to the ground, and that lets out the demon. And then for the rest of the movie, the demon chases them. And that's basically it.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Spoiler alert. It lives inside.
The jar.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, Sam.
Yes.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler
Okay.
alert. Also, I'm just... Okay, PG-13 horror movies.
Yeah.
They just can't do it anymore. There's not a body count. It has a body count of 1 that we get to see. Now, apparently there's a whole family that's murdered off screen.
Yes.
But this one is just the nicest dude with Jonathan Taylor Thomas hair.
Yes.
And he's in love with Sam for good reason.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
She's so beautiful.
And she's very old.
And she's very,
He's
very
like
of age.
15 and she's 24.
He might be 15.
Yeah.
Oh, well, he has a car.
Yeah.
So he might be 16, possibly 17.
Yeah. And she's 24.
Or maybe he's also an idiot.
Oh, yes.
So he could be 20, 25.
Yes.
Regardless, Johnny's got a fast car.
Mm-hmm.
And he drives her to the place where a whole family was murdered.
Mm-hmm.
And they couldn't figure it out. And they said the son killed himself, but he was also burned with no fire.
Yeah,
That's what I like.
He was burned to death, but there was no scorching on any of the walls or the floors. It's
but
pretty
they
weird.
also ruled as a suicide.
Yes, they ruled as a suicide. It's a movie that doesn't make any sense.
Zero.
But it's got a lot of great parts, though.
It does got some pretty... yeah, sure.
I mean, at the very least, it has a best part, even if it's not that good. Which brings me to the beef lamb gyro. I'll tell you what the best part is.
Go on.
I learned about a new candy. I love candy, and the whole movie, on the table, there's a bowl, and I thought it was sprinkles. You said it might be Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah, because it was very much the color of sprinkles or... Well, fans out there know. Sprinkles and Fruity Pebbles are in the...
They got pretty much the same color.
Yes.
And you posited that it might be Nerds.
Yeah, because it started... They got close, and I was like, well, that's not flakes like Fruity Pebbles.
It's nerd-shaped.
Yeah.
And I learned...
Sprinkles are oblong, too, so it can be sprinkles.
It could be sprinkles, but I learned something by... what did I... Oh, I Googled small Indian candy, just in case, and that worked.
Yeah, because the first 2 Googles, I'm pretty sure, were, why are there sprinkles on Indian dinner tables?
Yes! Well, I thought maybe this is a cultural thing that I do not understand.
Yeah, because an ice cream social could happen at any moment.
That's true. I mean, they're if that was true, they would definitely have a better culture than American culture because
they would.
We never have sprinkles on our table.
Well, I don't know. Maybe then they wouldn't have an army or anything because everybody's just so fucking happy.
Yeah.
That they're just like, maybe it doesn't happen all the time.
Is it
maybe
worth
it's
it?
like whenever we're done with dinner, an ice cream social could break out at any second. I don't know how that would happen. Maybe just people come over with just things of...
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of an ice cream brand. What's an
Breyers?
Yep, that's the Bluebell.
Bluebell's very
Bluebell's
nice.
pretty good.
Okay, so what the candy is and what my beef lamb gyro is they are candy-coated fennel seeds, which I had never heard of, but I'm going to find a way to eat them. If you are Indian or Indian American or even know someone who's Indian or just know a store that sells candy-coated fennel seeds, please tweet at us at Food Courtcast. Send me some. I'll eat them live on the air. Well, we're never live, but live to
from tape delay.
On the air, yeah.
Well, there has to be a distribution system.
Certainly there is. I saw them on Amazon, but I don't want to...
No.
I don't want to buy like $7 worth of fennel seeds and then find out that I hate them.
Yeah. And also you want them fresh,
yes.
I would say.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some sort of international market you could go to.
Absolutely.
Where they have fresh fennel
That's
seeds coated
why I want the tweeting.
Well, do they just put candy, like Reese's Pieces?
Yeah, it seems like it.
Huh. And then you bite into it and find out it's
a seed in there. Yeah.
It doesn't sound as fun as a Reese's Pieces.
Tweet at us at Food Courtcast if it's as fun as a Reese's Pieces. I can't think of any other good things about this movie. So your turn. What's the best part of this movie?
I think the best part of this movie is the lighting.
Yeah.
I've said this about several horror movies. They're way too brightly lit. Yeah. So there's like never any is something going on in the shadows or, this one's great. They don't do a lot of neon woods, which I hate.
I like neon woods.
I'm not a big fan unless it's like Mandy.
Yeah.
Unless it's like a fever dream. Then you're like, okay. But if they're trying to make me believe something.
There was a lot of dreams in this.
It was almost exclusively dreams.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was the lighting.
Yeah.
That was, they try to make the whole movie be The Grudge. I mean, they literally.
We got to talk about the bad things. We're talking about bad things now.
Oh, yeah. Now we're on it.
This movie...
It's going to be a 5-minute podcast.
Is kind of. I mean, we'll talk about more, but there's a lot of bad things to say about it.
Oh, definitely.
For me, where did I put my phone? Did I drop it?
Oh, I think we're recording
we're recording on it. This is what happened, and this is the very worst part.
All your notes are gone.
I forgot my notes, but this is... The main problem with it is, for me... it didn't seem like it was moving anywhere.
No.
And this was felt by me most in the editing because there were many shots where, you can tell it's supposed to be one of those shots where, something spooky happened and then you're decompressing from the spooky and they're just, showing someone's face or showing a door or showing something.
A light post.
Yeah, showing a light post where you're like, okay, go ahead and cut it. Or have music or some kind of
scream,
thing.
And then it just goes to a light post, and you'll be like, something bad's happening off camera.
Yeah, no, but they just there's so many times when I was like, cut, I could think it in my head. Just go ahead and cut. We get it. Go ahead. You don't need to. And that's a bad thought to have 15 times. But the very worst part, Josh. Can I tell you the very worst part?
I would like to hear it.
The worst part about this movie...
is that there was a bowl of candy that nobody ate.
No, well, I think she took one snack just to make...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't remember ever seeing that.
I was too busy paying attention to the very worst part of this movie. The low man, the rain. We didn't get a full count, but I would say it began raining at least 7 to 10 times, do you think?
Close to it.
Now, there will be a person in a place, and then it will rain. Sometimes they're outside. Often it's Sam, but sometimes it's another character. It will rain really hard, out of nowhere.
Torrential downpour.
Instantly. They will not be wet at all.
Mm-mm.
They will be completely bone dry. This happened with multiple characters who were rained on in multiple different places.
Gothy Tamara's the first one.
Yeah.
Is that the show that she was gothy and having problems, her hair was just slightly a muss.
Yeah.
Just kind of frizzy.
Yeah.
And so she walks through the rain for a while.
Yes.
And goes inside without a hood on, if I recall correctly, and then walks inside completely dry.
I thought for sure, at least, like they were showing her feet, and I thought there was some kind of dripping from her backpack, which turned out to be blood from raw meat. I don't know. I've seen raw meat in my life, but it's never dripped that much. Maybe
rarely. Not enough. I've never put it in a backpack.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Maybe it did. But she gets into the place, and she's dry. And I thought for sure, because the blood had been dripping, then maybe she'd be walking through the house, and there would be more dripping of both the blood and the rain.
Yeah.
And there would be something cool. There's some kind of visual interest.
Just a perfect time for a cinematographer to go,
hey, this would look cool.
Let's just take it away from her and just show the floor and just puddles of watered up blood.
Yeah.
Watered up. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, that's a phrase.
Sure.
And it is sort of like a small sign of the problems with the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Because it's like, one, the rain comes out of nowhere and stops out of nowhere. And two, it doesn't affect people. Like, people are not wet. So why is it there? And if it was like 7 or something where it's fucking raining, this place is a shithole.
Yeah, yeah.
Or even if it's not a shithole, it is a gloomy time of year.
Like a Stephen King movie where everything's just kind of gloomy.
Yeah, it just rains. But there's no reason for the rain, and also it seems like the rain is not real.
And it also seems like nobody dresses for rain.
No.
So it constantly rains at any moment for minutes.
Yeah.
And nobody ever dresses in, let's say, a slicker, maybe
Sam
a hat.
Has a rain jacket, but it never gets wet, so it doesn't matter.
It doesn't get wet. Yeah. And also, whenever it did rain, they jump into a car real quick.
Yeah.
What's it matter? And then she goes, I'm soaked and got mud all over your car. They were standing next to it.
Yeah.
And she wasn't wet.
Yeah.
It was insane.
It's a deeply weird movie.
Yeah.
But like, just because of, I don't want to be too mean, but I'll say they just didn't seem like they thought things through.
No, they obviously did. It makes me wonder if it was a movie that was shot a little bit at a time with what little bit of money they could get. Like, they would get some money, and then they're like, okay, we can film this scene this week, and in 2 weeks, I get another paycheck, and we can film 2 more scenes.
Maybe.
Hopefully this weekend. Because it could easily been that Phantasm was shot that way.
Yeah.
And at points it kind of shows where, where you're just like, this feels kind of out of sorts.
He looks like 2 years older.
Yes. The boy has a mustache now.
Yeah, and pubes. He's got pubes coming out of his pants.
Just tufts of pube. Like, we thought it was his sweet piece, but it turns out to be just a fat bush.
Yeah.
You think maybe that they also shot this in a very rainy area so the rain just would hit, and they're just like, we have to make it part of the story now?
It's possible.
Somehow.
I don't know.
Or there was like a rain clause in everybody's contract where they're just like, listen, you can make this as rainy as you want to, but if you think I'm going to stand around dripping wet.
I'm not getting paid enough to be cold.
Well, I look like Greg Louganis over here, just fucking constantly getting out of the pool. Remember him? He busted his head.
Didn't he get AIDS?
Well,
or was that a different diver?
Before he jumped in the water, he got AIDS. He didn't get the AIDS while.
No, I'm not saying he got it from the water.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, here we go. There's another conspiracy. Get them ladies back.
Are they back?
No, they're probably out.
Spinning
cotton candy on kids so they can eat them and shit.
What's the worst part of this movie, Josh?
I hated that it took like 3 or 4 stories that we already know from Japanese horror movies and crammed them into this because it had scenes stole from The Grudge, like the hair being pulled, stuff like that from an invisible entity. Yeah. It had the Ring Girl, like whenever it was coming. Yeah. It was coming after him.
And she did the...
Oh, yeah.
They do that in every movie.
Marilyn Manson moves all the way up. There was another one in there that I saw too, but I can't remember it now.
There was something else. It wasn't even Japanese. There was something else. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. But I mean, this may be like a traditional like Indian like folklore or whatever.
Yeah, sure.
Of like a demon that comes and it lives off negative energy.
Yeah,
just like the Grudge.
Definitely
That's
the Grudge, yeah.
And all this stuff. So it may be a real thing, or maybe it's just like an Asian thing, and it's spread over different cultures or whatever. But it was definitely, that person watched that movie and went, well, we can just do this.
Yeah, what if we did The Grudge?
Yeah.
I thought of a good thing.
Oh.
It's got a real costume. Eventually.
From the monster?
Yeah.
Or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that real?
I think it was.
Oh, the head was, definitely. Yeah. And it's almost, it's laughable a little bit.
You didn't like it?
I thought it was kind of silly.
I just liked the fact, I've seen so many movies where they try to do a CG monster, and I hate the CG monster. It was just nice to see, like, teeth and a head.
That is true. I feel like they could also made it just a big scary dude.
Yeah.
That just kind of looked monsterish and just had it be a real entity the whole time.
Yeah.
Would have probably, as soon as I see like a lot of CG, I usually check out.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happened in this. It was pure CG, at least in like Megan, of all things to compare it to.
Yeah.
That was a real little fucking weird robot killing people. And the body count. Yeah. She had a body count. This one has a body count of what we got to see? 1.
Yeah.
Just one dude.
I don't understand why they can't kill people. I mean, you know, people in other PG-13 movies die.
Yeah.
You know, a guy gets his heart pulled out in Temple of Doom.
Yeah. And shown to him before he dies.
Why can't they do that?
I mean,
part of it is because they're just not particularly good filmmakers, so
that could be that too. And also maybe people are just like, I want to be in this horror movie, but you better not kill me. And he's like, oh shit, this is everybody except the one guy that forgot to ask that, and they're like, well, you're dead.
Maybe so. It's pretty rough.
Here's what the best part of the movie was.
Oh, tell me.
Can I tell you?
Nobody
else showed up to this movie.
Oh, yes.
Yes, I did tell you one earlier.
But lighting, this is the real best one.
This is the real best one. The real best part of this movie is we were the only people in the whole theater, and it was a huge
it was
theater.
Quite a big theater.
It was very big, so we could talk and do whatever we wanted to. You got up and walked around.
I took a little jog.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, if this would have been a real slog if we had watched it with other people.
Oh, yeah.
Because
we'd had the energy of them trying to be quiet, too, and not be like, this is kind of... God, it's just a grudge,
This isn't very good.
What is that on the table? Is that Fruity Pebbles? And somebody's like, no. I'm pretty sure it's nerds. Nerds.
Okay, this is another bad thing.
Sure.
This movie RRR, this Indian movie came out last year, and I loved it.
It's on one of the streaming services now.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Ooh.
And since then, I've been going over to the other theater, where they have lots of Indian movies.
Yeah.
And like every few weeks I've been seeing one. And I feel like one of the things that's really fun about those movies is that they are often quite over the top.
Oh, yeah.
And this, like, never... I mean, not that it doesn't have to just because it has Indian Americans, but the fact that there was a demon made me wish that she powered up or got some kind of cool, you know... I don't know, some kind of cool powers or some shit, and they just kind of chant.
As lame as Terrifier 2 was,
yeah.
Terrifier 2 without just horrendous mutilations and stuff is a terrible movie.
Yeah, a horrible movie.
But they did have a scantily clad teen.
Yes.
Which I looked up to. She's like 27.
Hell yeah. Good. Everything's fine.
And she, for some odd reason, gets a battle sword.
Yes! Yeah.
To fight the clown, Art the Clown. And this one could have easily had anything.
Something cool.
Traditional this or that. Like, they could have taught us so much about their culture through a violent, gory horror movie.
I mean, in RRR, they, like, strap on cool outfits. They're like, oh, we better put on our cool outfits. And they get the red powder and they put it on their forehead. And they're, like, in battle gear. But it's like, this is the shit we get when we're Indian dudes and we like to get fucking rocked out. Yeah. This is what we do, and it's really cool, and they don't really do anything.
Yeah, it's like Sly Stallone and Cobra.
Yes.
I've never seen somebody just dress like that where I didn't make fun of him, but as soon as you put that on the screen, I'm like, that dude is ready to whoop ass.
Yes.
And I'm with him all the way.
They never get... I mean, not every movie has to have someone get fucking rocked out and awesome.
Yeah.
But this could have used something.
Yeah. Oh, well, they have a teacher. Have a young teacher that everybody
Very
calls by her
weird.
first name.
Very weird.
And she is very concerned with her classmates, good teacher. Or maybe not classmates, just with the children, pupils.
Her class persons.
Yes.
Class, they're not
the
mates.
people she looks down upon. I'm teaching you're not teaching me.
I went to Berkeley.
But
it says on my T-shirt.
And so you figure she's going to die.
Yes.
Because she's a likable enough character that she dies. We see the gravity of this. Because they killed the young boy that was just wanting to make out and smoke pot on a swing, which just seemed, I was just like, oh, this is a nice little scene.
It was sad.
It was pretty sad. They brutally murdered him. Maybe that's the best part.
That was pretty good.
But you could also see while they were throwing him around
from a chain.
Yeah, but you could see like his shirt up in the back where they were obviously like bad, like practical effects.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Hey.
But you could have seen the teacher die in the school away, and they wouldn't even know. And they're just like, I thought the teacher... And the teacher just has personal phone numbers of the children? I think that's... I don't know if that's... Maybe it's legal. There's a lot of things illegal. Like, I could get a whole fifth of Jack Daniels right now and just drink it without taking a breath. That's legal.
Please
But you shouldn't do it. Well... I just so happened to just
glug, glug, glug,
glug.
Okay, this is another weird thing.
Sure.
Another bad thing. Most of the characters are just fucking stupid.
Yes.
And now, this happens in most horror movies where people are just fucking stupid, but, like, usually it's some teen or something.
It's a dummy.
Yeah.
A dummy does dummy stuff in most movies where you're like, oh, okay, that guy's a dummy. So, of course he's going to do that.
But this is a teacher from Berkeley. And now that doesn't, just because she went to Berkeley and just because she's a teacher doesn't mean she's smart.
Yeah.
But.
All you guys out there that hate Cal Berkeley, all you UCLA fans, all USC fans.
You fucks. But the problem is she's just unbelievably stupid.
Yeah.
She does weird horror movie stuff that is so stupid and it's just annoying. There's one of the other disconnects is that sometimes the monster cannot get you when it's in the light. Like sometimes it's the character from Lights Out where when the lights go
that's
on.
The other movie.
Yeah. And so sometimes it can't get you, but just until it can is basically what happens. At some point it just goes, I'm done fucking with you. I'm going to actually kill you.
There was obviously a reshoot where the mom goes, it likes to, what's the English way to put it, tenderize the soul by bothering you. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, but it didn't tenderize anybody else's soul, basically. Just the main characters that were going to live.
It's, so while the teacher still is under the impression that it is a lights out creature and it can't get her in the light, she still keeps turning the light off.
Yes, just to see.
And strangely, even more strange, it's one of those things where it's like the twist-on timer lights.
It's an egg timer connected to a light switch, basically.
But it isn't used in the way that bit is usually used. Like, usually she's looking around and then it turns off because she didn't turn the timer on long enough, which at least is kind of a fun bit. Yeah. She just turns it on and off with that weird light switch.
Yeah, she did it herself the whole time.
Like the light switch happened to be there, and they didn't think this leads us to believe a bit is going to happen, and then the bit doesn't happen.
Yeah,
it's a fucking weird movie.
It's
I would have been pretty annoyed.
There's no death, really. Nobody really gets hurt except that one dude. Oh, the dad. If you're a dude in this movie, you get, because the backstory is
a boy kills himself.
A boy catches himself on fire. And the girl kept on hearing as she passed by the house her name being called to a jar. And she goes and gets it, and it's like, I sure would like some raw meat. And she was like, well, I can do that. How about you just ignore it? Or you bury it, you put it in concrete.
Yeah.
Just something to where you're like, okay, I'm just going to go live my life as Ali Sheedy now.
Yeah.
And then she'll probably get really good grades.
Yeah.
And everybody, and then one day, like some of the mean girls get her and they pull her glasses off and make her shake her hair down.
She can throw the jar at him.
And she's super. Oh, well, that's true. She could also just have the jar as a monster. Well, we just wrote a better movie.
Yeah.
She could be like the fucking harbinger of doom to be like, oh, you're being mean to me. I'm just going to open this jar. And then the demon comes out, pulls the girl into it. She seals it back up.
That's kind of fun.
I think that's a 10 times a better movie.
Well, if you're listening, Neon, we'll make your Indian American art.
Yeah.
What you needed was 2 white guys to make your Indian American. This makes me think of I don't even remember who said it, but I've really taken it with me.
Okay.
It's like inspirational and feels good when like even like anybody's allowed to make a bad movie. Like this is like written and directed by an Indian American guy, starring mostly Indian Americans. And hey, cool. They got to do a good movie. They got to do a bad movie. That's cool.
Yeah, that's true.
But still, it's kind of
we are all the same. Yeah, we all can
Isn't
make
it beautiful?
garbage that people will not go to.
Man, they did not advertise this at all.
If I'm not mistaken, whenever I went to buy the ticket, it kind of excited me considering I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
I've only saw the poster on the app, which where I was like, oh, this is some sort of demon stuff.
Sure, yeah.
And is that it said not rated. And I went, fuck.
Yeah.
This is going to rule.
Did not rule.
It didn't rate it because I guess not even the fucking film people saw it.
The MPAA was like,
whatever.
I'm not going to watch this. It also made me wonder because, as I know from going to the Indian movies at the other theater, they're always fucking packed.
Really?
Like packed fucking theaters almost every time I go, and no one was here. So maybe they just didn't get the word out to the community or something, but no, it was literally just us.
Yeah, just us.
And man,
at any time of day they're packed?
Pretty much. I mean, especially in the evening, but like even the afternoon ones, there's a bunch of people in there. But like the nighttime ones, always packed.
That's cool.
I mean, it is great. Yeah, it's great.
Damn it.
And also, they get fucking buck wild.
That's what I really... Dude, maybe that's what kind of took away from this experience, too.
Yeah. We didn't have anybody get buck wild. No one got buck wild.
Including ourselves. Like, there was nothing to get too buck wild about.
Get buck wild about.
Even, like, I didn't much care for the monster.
No.
It just kind of... It looked kind of like... Had Stegosaurus back, had like some spikes out the back.
Had big teeth.
Had several big teeth that were coming out of places where teeth shouldn't be coming from.
The claws were really long and the teeth were really long.
Yeah.
It kind of had the claws from the Insidious monster, sort of.
Yeah. Alien, kind of space alien looking.
I also was... It also struck me as strange because it didn't feel like it had any style.
Yeah.
Like there's one moment when the mom is like praying at her little altar and there's a cool one of the gods.
Yeah.
And he's looking cool as hell and he's got a cool outfit and he's got like cool colors and stuff. Yep. And made me think, oh well, certainly the bad guy to that cool guy would look cool as hell. But he doesn't
really look cool at all.
Why doesn't he have a cool sword or like have a cool, headband like
Or be more manipulative?
Yeah.
Like, to be more manipulative, he kind of looks like just like a handsome dude. That's the reason why I was saying, I was like, you could do so much more with just an actor. Mm-hmm. Where they just come out and then, like, the end, like, whenever they're trying to be, like, saying, like, the chants or whatever to, like, get him into a glass jar.
They gotta get him in the glass jar. Glass is very strong.
Yes. Well, thank you, Mason and Ball, for all of you do union workers. I know you're on strike. Yeah. But we appreciate what you used to do until all of a sudden you needed more money for what? Healthcare? Who gives a shit? What, are you going to
pay for your kids to eat food?
What do you need? PTO?
Ugh.
GTO?
Yeah.
GTFO. That's what I meant to say.
Yes. Vroom, vroom.
But yeah, GTFO. He could have just turned into that. Yeah. Like whenever they're doing the chant, he's like, oh, this is the real me or something. Or just always like, sometimes he'll reach for something. You see the big claws and he kind of like the character will move its head.
I got regular hands.
This is what I try to do now whenever I watch a movie I don't like.
Yeah.
Instead of just being like, that sucked, and then I just move about my life, I'm like, well, let's be constructive. How could you make, in that frame, how could you make this film better?
I mean...
The ending was nice. I like the ending. The very, very, very ending.
Which part?
Is whenever she is So Sam,
yes.
she becomes the vessel for.
Ooh, that's another bad part. Before you say the good part, they do the chanting.
Yes.
And the monster turns into smoke, but it's like it's real bad CG smoke going into her mouth. And it's especially strange because if you just put smoke in someone's mouth and then you run it backwards, it looks like it's going in their mouth.
And it would also look Marilyn Manson video creepy.
It would look super cool.
Yeah.
But instead, there's just fucking weird, shitty. Okay, so she's a vessel. She's got a demon in her.
Which brings her family and friends closer together.
Yes.
So they're all having dinner now. They're all speaking the same language. That was another thing that bothered me, is that
you hate subtitles.
I do hate subtitles, but at the same time, if everybody's going to speak Hindi, just have everybody speak Hindi, and then I'll catch up, or I'll miss most of the movie because I'll read slow. Either way, but. At first, I liked the dynamic of the mother would only speak Hindi, and then the daughter, just to be an asshole, would always speak English. And I was like, and then the dad would kind of come in between. I went, oh, okay, I kind of get that. But towards the end of the movie, the mom started speaking like English every 2 or 3 sentences.
Yeah.
And then the daughter still just spoke English. And then sometimes my brain wouldn't catch up to be like, wait, what? She just all of a sudden, like in the middle of a sentence, would start speaking English. And I was like, well, wait a second. That was weird.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was weird on purpose, or maybe they hit I guess the release of movie in America has to have so much English. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like have to hit a quota.
They got to hit the quota.
You got to hit the quota of English spoken words or speaking words. But the ending.
She eats raw meat.
They get her a plate of raw meat to satisfy the demon inside.
It's good. It's pretty good.
And she doesn't like it.
No.
I mean, she was raised completely vegetarian, and now here's like gooey raw meat with like Jello on top of it.
Looks good though.
She eats it, and everybody's like, and she's like,
Do you like it?
So she eats that, and then they're just having just a weird little walk home from her own house. They just go walking, and she's like, well, I'm just going to leave. And the other girl's like, okay, just remember, we're always going to be friends and shit.
Yeah.
And then it pulls back, and she just one single tear. And I couldn't figure out if that single tear is because she has a demon inside of her, or because that's the only person she can ever relate to.
Oh.
Ever again is the one friend she didn't really like to begin with.
Yeah. And who is a demon friend?
Yeah, that's true. If it wasn't for her, then none of this shit would have happened. She would have just went, man, every time I walk by that house, a creepy voice says my name, and then nobody calls the cops. Mm-hmm. It's strange.
I don't really understand the point of the vessel. So if you put it in the vessel, how could it still affect you? What's the point of the vessel if it can still make you go crazy? It's not useful.
Yeah, that's completely flawed.
Well, we can't only talk about it lives inside.
Yeah, the horrible thing.
It just wasn't very good, and that's fine.
Predictable, not very good.
I've seen so many bad movies.
Fantastic.
Good lighting.
Oh, the
Great job.
high school was also named, and it also would do things that take away from the belief of it being in a horror movie, because it tries to be dramatically and horror or drama and horror at the same time. But the high school that the kids went to is called, the mascot is called Werewolf High, like werewolves.
Yeah,
and it was
werewolves.
Everywhere. It's like, I don't even know the name of the high school. It just said werewolves.
They're very strange. It's very strange to have them be werewolves.
Yeah.
Oh, well. We didn't only watch It Lives Inside. We watched so many movies this week, which brings us to Pan Express Presents Express Yourself about the movies you watched this week. Ring a ding 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 ding. Ba-da. Josh, did you watch any movies?
Watched a lot of football this week.
A football movie?
No.
Rudy?
Just regular. No. I don't like sports movies.
What?
Yeah, because I know how they're all going to end. Somebody's going to get hurt or something at the beginning and at the end. Friday Night Lights is the only one where I was like, well, they're going to win this. Oh, well. Do you want to hear the ending?
Do they lose?
Yeah.
Ah.
They lose, and the quarterback that wasn't supposed to make it that far, his alcoholic dad still hates him.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's like such a true
That's
story
great.
of being like, everybody's like, you're a failure. And he's like, but I did the improbable. I took us all the way after the other kid got hurt.
And they're like, good, we don't care.
Basically.
Oh, that sounds great.
Basically. I'll rewatch 300.
Yeah.
Because I was watching a YouTube video and it said the most fearsome warriors of all time, and it brought up the 300, and it was trying to explain how that worked. And I went, let's see how this stacks up against the Frank Miller Classic 300. Well, it's basically just naked dudes.
Oh, yeah.
Naked dudes in slow motion. Yeah. About halfway through, I was like,
yeah,
seems like I'm getting an agenda pushed on me.
Yeah.
So I watched the rest.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good movie.
Would you consider yourself straight now?
Well, I consider myself a red-blooded American male that appreciates the form of men who have done nothing but take HGH and work out.
Yeah.
King Leonidas, whatever his real name is.
Sweaty.
Very glistening.
Yeah.
These men are all glistening in basically panties and capes.
Yeah.
And then they
kick people in the holes.
They kick people in the holes. Eventually, they do show a couple of naked women just to throw you off the scent.
Yeah.
A little bit where you're like, oh, wait, that's the chick from Game of Thrones nude.
Yeah.
As she was also very nude in that show, too. But yeah, that's what I did. And I watched a little football just to make sure a bunch of big sweaty men climbing on top of each other just to be like, I got to straighten things out.
Me, I would never. And they also say,
yep, they say that a lot.
You
and they're wearing flip-flops.
I watched something gay, too.
Oh, go on.
I watched a movie called Cruising. Have you seen this film? Directed by William Friedkin, director of The Exorcist and French Connection.
Oh, okay.
It is an early 80s movie starring Al Pacino.
Okay.
Where it's great.
Bizarre.
Dick Carlo, she had a great dick. It's essentially that. Well,
really?
he is not yet insane.
Okay.
Late period Pacino. He actually talks.
He hasn't became Pacino yet.
Yeah,
okay.
He's just an actor.
Yeah, he's just
back when he did acting.
Just a person.
Yeah, and there's a problem in New York City because someone is murdering people at local gay bars.
Okay.
There's been 2 murders so far, and they've also found floating body parts in the river.
This is what year?
81, I think.
Okay. This is before the major eruption of everybody knowing about serial killers, or maybe right in the middle of it.
It's the good old days.
Yep.
And Al has to go undercover into gay life. And
that's such.
It's crazy. It's really good. But it's especially interesting because most of them were shot in real leather bars.
Oh, leather daddies.
Real New York City leather bars.
Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2,
yes.
Leather Daddy bars.
Absolutely, yes.
All right.
So it's very seedy and dirty and grimy. It's great. But it's also he's talking to dudes who are hey, let's go to the park and fuck.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's so crazy. 2 thumbs up. One of the best movies ever.
Do you sometimes, just because of the older movies that we grew up watching and maybe idolizing, or maybe that's how a lot of us cut our teeth on enjoying cinema, so to speak, is old dirty New York, the place that looked like Beirut back in the day. Just everything's crumbling, everything's scary and gross.
Yeah.
Everybody looks gross.
Yeah.
Nothing. If you see, is it Sybil Shepherd that's in Taxi Driver?
Yes.
So, and I think that's what made her stand out so much. First of all, she's gorgeous.
Yes. Very
Second
beautiful.
of all, she is always wearing white. She always looks clean in a city that just looks filthy, and everybody around her looks gross.
Everybody's sweating.
Just we haven't invented air conditioning yet. It's 1978, which makes little to no sense.
Good old days.
But yeah, does it make you kind of just whenever I look at the world, sometimes I'm I wish things were just a little bit gross, more grosser.
Well, yes. I don't remember where I watched it, but there's
even for safety's sake, I'm kind of I wish someone would chase me.
Stab me.
Somebody would just come up and be like, "You're going to hell, bitch!" And I'll be like, I got to run away.
Stab me, leather daddy. Stab me.
Yes, spank me now.
There's a video. You might be able to find it on the internet, but Frank Henenlotter, who did Basket Case and Frankenhooker, the king. There's a video.
Great, you got to tell these people
Watch
how good
Frankenhooker.
is.
It's a masterpiece.
So fucking good.
He is just on. I think he's somewhere on Broadway, essentially where a lot of the old Grindhouse theaters were.
Oh yeah.
And he's just pointing at theaters and saying, "Oh yeah, used to watch kung fu movies over there," and it's kind of depressing, but also just kind of interesting that he's like, "Oh yeah, that's where I used to see weird porn movies over there," and it's just like, man, it was a crazy world back then.
Yeah. And I think it's like one of those deals, too, to where I understand now that all that horrible stuff can be just found with a click of a button in your pocket from your phone.
Yeah.
But back then, you had to just be like, well, I'm just going to physically leave my home.
Yeah.
And on the way, I'm going to meet a cast of characters that are probably gross and creepy.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go do something, even though I'm a good boy. I'm going to go watch some gross, creepy shit.
Yeah.
And just filter that through my good boy brain.
Yeah.
And then we'll have to walk home and hopefully make it back.
Yeah.
And then one day I'm going to make a movie that somebody's going to have to go through this whole journey. Yeah. And now there's no journey. There's only destinations.
Wow.
It's heavy pretty profound, huh?
That's heavy shit.
Yeah, I've been practicing it.
Tweet at us at FoodCourtcast if you believe there are no journeys, just destinations.
I also hate the band Journey.
You hate the band Journey?
Yeah, it's Diet Coke and rock and roll.
Everybody hates Journey, except me. I love Journey.
Which song is your favorite?
I love Separate Ways.
That's the wrong one.
It's got a good riff.
Should be Wheel in the Sky. That's their best song.
That's a great song,
the one
too.
that will come on and I go, all right. Not all. It's just so good.
It's really good. They're a great band.
I don't know where I'll be tomorrow.
Josh.
Yeah?
It's been such a pleasure doing this podcast.
The pleasure was all yours. Let's be honest.
It was great. I had a great time. You may be joking, but I had a better time than you were.
I had a pretty good time.
Did you?
I'm not going to lie. I ate popcorn. I drank most of a Mountain Dew because I like to get the sensories up for the scary movies, so something will scare me.
Yeah.
You know,
so you're just like,
where I'm just like, sweat, my belly hurts.
I ate too much Mountain Dew.
Just my pupils are dilated.
Yeah.
I'm just stoned. I'm just fucking stone cold crazy.
Stoned to the bone.
Stoned to the bone, dog. Just like in this movie where they smoked one hit of a joint and a guy was brutally murdered in front of her.
I mean, it just goes to show you.
Drugs. You got to smoke the whole joint.
Don't eat meat. Don't do drugs.
Unless you want to make a better movie.
Yeah. Well, hey.
That's what I'm saying.
Check out It Lives Inside in theaters now from Neon.
You should.
Might as well. What the hell? What else are you going to do?
If you got any kind of Movie Pass, AMC Plus, Regal, whatever.
Movie Pass.
But even Movie Pass is back now. They still send me emails.
They send me some.
Which I send straight to the spam. But they keep sending them back. Yeah, go check it out. If you don't like it, you can just walk out of it.
Who cares? Yeah.
Or you'll probably be the only people that bring your fun.
Yeah.
Bring your friends, your family, and then
gummies. Bring some gummy snacks.
Gummy snacks, or
drug gummies or regular gummies.
What you should do is you should bring a Ziploc baggie of Nerds.
Yeah.
A Ziploc baggie, a separate Ziploc baggie.
Sure.
Of Fruity Pebbles and a separate Ziploc baggie of Sprinkles.
Yeah.
And every time you see that kitchen table, which is a lot, you could have a different one, or maybe just mix them up and you don't know which one you're going to get.
You wouldn't even go,
oh, God, is this fennel?
It's fennel and Sprinkles and Nerds.
Oh, just to salt your taste buds. That would be a fun.
Hey, tweet at us. If you want to send us Nerds, candy-coated fennel seeds, Fruity Pebbles, and Sprinkles, tweet at us at FoodCourtcast. We sure would appreciate it.
You should just put a P.O. box or something so they can send them to you.
Send it to P.O. Box 945 Johnson Road, Alameda, Texas, 34333.
That's a self-addressed stamped envelope, too, would be nice.
Yeah, we'll send our spit back. It's going to be very multicolored spit, though. On behalf of Josh, I'm Sean, saying to you, bon appetit.